Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tesla Life number 112. Here we are on August the 21st of 2019. And this is our second Skype show, so we're going to try to get a little better. We were all over the place last one, so now we're trying to hone it in and make it a little bit better, get at ease with the controls, but we will see. We will see how it works. And with me today, to help me along in this endeavor, is of course in orange, which I thought was an interesting.
Is that metric color interpretation? Because in the United States, this is red.
It's orange on my screen.
I would say it's orange from here, but Mr. Russell Frost joins us from San Diego with his smoking. What is that? A rabbit?
That is my smoking Lorbit, man. That is Frank Kozik, baby.
All right.
So this is how I'm going to do the show today. This is me. I'm here. I'm the
so you have a K on your forehead. Okay.
For Frank Kozik. Yeah. Famous San Francisco artist and not close personal friend, but business acquaintance. Anyway, hi everybody. Woo! Boy, is this a big week. Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Many big things going on.
Just a little bit.
Also joining us from the Space Odyssey room, Mr. Casey Green joins us from the D.C. area of the country.
Yeah, Lord, Virginia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Welcome to NOLA, or Nova, excuse me.
Yes.
Nova.
Yes.
Wow.
So we took the Model X and a U-Haul trailer and made our first run of at least 2 or 3 more. It was an adventure.
So, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, we learned that the U-Haul trailers, at least the fully enclosed ones, do not come with landing gear. So you are permanently hitched to it. You can't let it go, because if you do, you'll never get it back. It's too heavy.
The tongue would be laying on the ground, and there's too much weight to lift it.
Exactly.
Oh, you're a wimp, Green.
I cannot lift 2,000 pounds myself, personally. So the empty trailer gives the Model X an interesting dynamic. As you get over like joists in the roadway between asphalt and a bridge, kind of like jumps and bucks a little bit. Not sway, but you can definitely tell something is pushing back from the car, and the car doesn't care for that. But when it's fully loaded, it very very well mannered. It pulled it like as if there's nothing. They always say as if nothing was there. Yes, it didn't put a lot of stress on the system, but like if you got passed by a big rig a little close, or if a good gust of wind came, you knew it was back there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't unmanageable.
Good. So you're going to be doing a few of these runs, are you?
Yes, at least 2 more. And so the trip planner, it defaulted us. I don't know if this is the behavior that it has or if it was coincidence, but it defaulted us to only stopping at superchargers that had nose-in parking. That was pretty cool. Except in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, there was a individual who chose not to reverse in and took the only nose-in parking, and so we had to wait 20 minutes for a spot to open up.
Ah.
I mean, we could have gone sideways, but there were other cars there, and we didn't want to be the bigger jerk.
Right.
Yes. And then the other time we did sideways parking was we took an extra stop in, I think, Centerville, Virginia. I had to look it up to be sure. That one had, it was the southernmost Wawa supercharger, as we talked about Wawas last week.
Right.
And so that one we just parked across like 5 of the bays, and there were still 4 readily available, and nobody came the whole time. I even took a little nap while it was juicing up. It was an adventure.
Yeah. So that was your first try with the X to do a trailer pull for a long distance?
That was my first time towing anything other than a lawn trailer with the ride-on mower. So
okay, all right.
It was an adventure. I liked it.
And what about the range difference?
Oh my goodness! So the way I normally drive, I drive at slightly extra legal speeds, and I get about 320 watt hours per mile. Sometimes in the low, or sometimes like 280, 290. And then with the empty trailer, we were pulling around 515, 520. And then with the fully loaded trailer, we're pulling anywhere from 725 to 900 watt-hours per mile.
Wow.
Yeah, we could go an hour and a half between stops.
Oh my goodness! So
Yes.
your base you wouldn't be able to skip too many then. I guess you'd be
skip
getting one
one.
in between, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. You're done.
That
You
was
got to
it, yeah.
you got to pull over and fill up again. Okay.
Yeah. And they have started writing tickets for fossils icing the Florence supercharger. We pulled in one of the only nose-in spots that was not full of, and then so we had the trailer hanging out into the street, but it was enough that people could still get by. And then when it was time to undock, we unplugged, and the guard had just finished writing 4 tickets for people who had been longer than the 15, 30 minutes it said on the sign.
Wow.
And then he came over and he blocked traffic for us to just reverse out into the street and get going.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. Well, let's get on with the news this week. We've got a ton of news, and the first story comes to us from South Korea. South Korea started to receive their Model 3s, and here is the headline. They're getting them once they've applied the local incentive for 26,500 equivalent US dollars.
Boom!
So, man, talk about a deal in South Korea. I don't know how long the incentive. I don't know much about the incentive other than the amount that knocks it down to 26.5. So the Model 3 is going to sell a lot at that price, I'm sure, and we will be watching for records to fall in South Korea with this brand spanking new Tesla being delivered to the masses. So great price. It will have to watch and see if the sales numbers are as high as we believe they will be. Local story here in London, Ontario, not London, England, London, Ontario, which is about an hour southwest of me down the 401. There is a new vehicle parking system that they have just got funding to develop in London. And what this parking system is going to be is a total EV charging garage. So it'll be a multi-story platform where cars can go in autonomously, they say, and be able to go to a stall where they will be plugged in autonomously. And you will be able to, once the car is filled, or if you want the car before that, you'll be able to summon the car into the community to pick you up in front of your house. This is a brand new community that's being built from the ground up in London, Ontario. It's all based around sustainability, and this parking garage is part of it, so that they don't have to have a bunch of cars parked on the street in front of homes, or homes that are like townhomes where there's less frontage area. You'll be able to be assigned a space in this autonomous parking garage, and you'll just be dropped off at your house, get out of the car, and then the car autonomously will head to the parking garage, grab a spot, and be plugged in and charged up for you. So, brand new concept, and I, like probably you, really wonder how they can do that with multiple different cars.
Answer: they can't. This is a huge boondoggle. Why are they wasting this money on this crap when they could be installing chargers that real humans and real cars could use?
Well, you would think that, hey, maybe that's the first thing they should do, right? Like maybe that would be step one. Just make the garage, allow the charging structure to be in the garage, and let the person walk there and plug it in.
Yeah.
And then you know what? And then maybe dedicate a quarter of it to be autonomous and try to figure it out in a real live test area.
Yeah.
But at least 3/4 of it would work day one, and people could get their cars charged immediately. I have no problem having them work on some new technology, but man, if you were to spend a lot of money on this and then figure out partway into the project that it's not going to work, or it's not going to work in the way that you believed it would, or it's going to inconvenience people that are using it, then man, you'll be upset that the government lent them some money to try to do this particular way of charging. But I don't know. We don't know the details. None of the details have been released. All we know is that the community in London has got the grant to do this, and that the construction shall begin this winter, and they're hopefully going to open it in next year. So we will see. We will keep track on it. Actually, one of our groups is trying to get a tour of the community. We're trying to arrange one, and if we get some video on that, we will certainly share it here.
So, sorry to backtrack a little bit, but 15 million Korean won, 15.6 is the average price of a base model Honda Corolla sedan over there, which comes out to be $13,001.94 US. So that's a really good price.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, for our next story, Casey's going to tell us a little bit about the loaner issue that Elon Musk addressed recently through Twitter.
Yes, he did. So,
and what did he tell us, Casey? It was all fixed? Is that what he told us?
He said this is not right. As I told you all, and as I tweeted him several times, this is not right. And it appears that, depending on which conspiracy theory you believe, that either Elon is pretending he didn't know, even though he was going through every 10th page of expenses, or the one time he delegates something and gets it wrong, we all just let him have it. So it's probably somewhere in the middle of that.
No, it isn't.
Well, when you look at
I'm going to be
way
good.
that the Tesla employees are allowed to be autonomous or not, it appears that they are micromanaged from the middle, and so several of my club members have said that we feel that perhaps maybe stuff isn't getting through middle management. The guys at the bottom, we see it, they're frustrated. The guys at the top apparently don't know everything that's going on. And then in the middle is where all the muck-ups are happening.
Okay.
That's just one theory.
Now, do you think, Casey, that that the issue will be looked at? Does that mean that there's a solution afoot, or do you think that that they? My question is there going to be a two-tiered service system? Is there going to be different service for people that own an S and an X and people that own a 3? What do you think?
6 weeks, 3 years, definitely. But no, seriously, that would probably be the best way to solve it. Because if the whole point is that loaning on a Model 3 is costing them money, then what they should do is not do the Uber program, but just kind of tone down. Like if you're local and that Uber won't put you out, maybe do something like that until the Tesla network comes online, and then if you have an S or an X, just don't change the program. It was working. You have us out there singing your praises, and then when you change the plan at short notice without telling us, now we're cursing you in public. And we all know a lot more people to be mad about than the people that we will share how good it is to.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's my guess as to what's going to happen here. There's going to be some sort of two-tiered system. Someone that brings their 3 in for service is not going to be handed the key fob to a P100D. That's not going to happen, I believe. I think there's going to be some sort of a tiered response.
Yeah. What you could do there is give them the keys to a performance Model 3 or Model Y, and then if you have extra performance S or X sitting on the lot, and obviously not the lot, but in the inventory, then maybe just kind of try to move them a little bit. Especially, you already know their credit, you know how much they spend in service, you know a lot about these customers, you know where they go. You can kind of target it on put them in the right car, sell extra cars this way. The original plan was, hey, you're in a Model S 85. How would you like a Model S P85 Plus? And you just don't bring your car back. You're like, just give me the stuff out of the glove box and I'll keep this one.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wonder, with the amount of 3s on the road and increasing, if they could ever possibly keep up with the number of loaners that they may require in order to fulfill that, even at the lower end.
Not a fat chance.
Yeah.
But they did design the Model 3 better for repairability, and there's less need to bring it in than there are for the Fabergé Egg that I drive or the Model S. Except for on those vehicles, it is easier to drop the battery, just because they were made for the 30-second swap, but got canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next story is got a little photograph.
No comments, Russell, on that one?
Oh. I'm sorry, wasn't everybody promised a P100D as a loaner?
Yes, everybody was. At least the people up until they changed the policy.
Yeah. Just that's all.
He moves too fast sometimes.
Oh, come on. At some point, you have to stop cutting him some slack and make him an adult. He's either a genius or he's either a blithering idiot. And when he promises everything to everyone all the time.
Yeah. How did Paul call it? Paul called him a smart dumbass.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
He's kind of full of shit. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, well. 6 weeks, 8 weeks, definitely. A year and a half later.
Hey, look at that truck.
Yeah, so the semi was spotted on the roads again, this time in California. Not a surprise, but this time it was pulling just concrete blocks, about 75,000 pounds worth, and was going through weigh scales as regular trucks do. And they got an offhand report from the driver indicating that as he went through a weigh scale, that the truck was performing at or better in the mileage ranges that were expected for this particular model.
Said the driver who wants to retain employment.
Who wants to, who I'm sure is completely on the up and up here. I would not. I would not.
An unbiased source.
Oh, did they wrap the handles in red this time? I don't see them in silver.
Yeah, it looks like
That's
they just
cool.
put there is no indication they're silver here. Yeah.
So what I think would be a more interesting mass simulator, rather than concrete blocks, how about 8 prototype roadsters?
Yes. Yeah, that would certainly get some attention.
This implies the existence of 8 prototype roadsters.
Well, they'd have to make 8 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem
7
to
more
2.
at least.
They seem to only ever make 2 prototypes for public consumption, but that was a callback to the Falcon Heavy.
But you know what? It occurs to me, Casey, they probably don't want attention on the road anyways.
Well, this is true, but
they probably don't want cars trying to speed up beside them to take a picture of the prototypes and people zigging in front of the truck and cutting them off. No, they probably don't want anything to do with that.
But it was a callback to the Falcon Heavy, where he said that a block of lead or a block of concrete was not a very interesting mass simulator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
you could put a rocket on the back.
Here we are. A rocket. Well, again,
yes.
You're not being inconspicuous with a rocket in traffic.
It would be awesome to flip the script. First, the rocket carries the Tesla to space, and then the Tesla carries the rocket to the test stand.
You want to apply for Tesla marketing position. I'm sure they're just dying to hear ideas like, let's pull around a rocket or some prototypes.
Let's hear this guy complain about service.
Exactly. I'm sure they're just dying to have you get in there and make those changes.
But I do the supercharger reviews. That would be such a boost.
Such a good fit. It just fits. Yeah, absolutely. Well, another topic of interest that Russell is going to inform us on is something about the new Tesla energy plan to stimulate growth.
Well, now with just a single click, you can order Tesla Solar on your home. It comes in 3 different sizes, if memory serves. For as little as $50 a month, you can have Tesla install a rental solar panel system on your car or on your
your
house.
car.
Yeah, you can have it on your car too. So upsides obviously are $50 a month. You can, as Elon, and I'm going to quote Elon Musk here, you can cancel at any time, which according to the contract, which I read, you can. However, you have to pay $1,500 termination fee whenever you cancel the contract, no matter when.
Mm-hmm.
So
Do
you
the math
can
quickly.
cancel at any point. It's just going to cost you.
It's just going to cost you.
The reason he said that it would cost you is that's their cost to restore your roof to was pre panels. So he says allegedly, yes.
Allegedly, yeah. You know what? I am for anything that puts more solar on more houses because that's a good thing. So there you go. We'll see how it works. Of course, the other Tesla solar news this week, sort of like one thing is a good thing, and then it gets smacked down. So, am I transiting it, Mark, into that story, or are we?
Yep.
Okay. So the other big news this week was that Walmart has filed suit against Tesla for installing, according to Walmart, 248 defective or potentially defective solar systems on their roof. These were installed by Solar City before the merger. And since their installation, there have been 7 fires on the roof of Walmart's. Some that cause considerable damage, some that, well, I guess any fire on your roof probably isn't good. The inspection part of this has been going on for well over a year. And Tesla and Walmart inspectors have both kind of been up there and looked at this. What they found was widespread incompetence. The Solar City installers, the Tesla installers, as they're named in the lawsuit, did a pretty poor job, which explains the fires. And apparently they couldn't work out some way to get this fixed. And now they're in court. Now, what's going to happen from that? It's a really good question. Walmart has hired a very good law firm, and I've heard that Walmart has deep pockets. So, and apparently they're going to see this through. Tesla obviously could have settled this before because this has been in negotiation for at least a year, maybe 18 months, depending on which documents you go from. So, the question, or maybe actually a couple of years, the question is really going to be when push comes to shove. And I hate to say it because this sounds really cynical, but hey, it's me. Take a drink. I think Tesla's waiting to see what the impact is on the stock, what the impact is on sales, and then they'll determine how to deal with this. I mean, this is obviously a huge money suck for them. 248 commercial installations that need to be removed and everything repaired. That is not a small amount of money from a company that is actually a smaller CapEx budget for this quarter than it had in the previous quarter and is allegedly going to be launching some new vehicles and building out production lines, all sorts of stuff. So this is a very bad timed problem for Tesla to have.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good at any point, but you're right. It is a large customer that has a lot of installations, and each of those installations is rather large on those rooftops.
Yes.
Like this is not a question of 12 panels. These are hundreds of panels attached to multiple arrays across the roofs of the entire nation. Even up here in Canada, our Walmarts have solar roofs as well.
Well, so, the Solar City only installed 248 systems. So it is possible that other Walmarts have solar products that did not come from Solar City or Tesla.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I'm sure that we're going to see people going, well, that was Solar City. It's not Tesla. What do you expect?
They bought them. So I would like to see Tesla's side of this.
Really?
Because when you're suing somebody, you're going to go for everything you can. So I'd like to see what they have to say about it. And also, I'm curious if they Walmarted them as a supplier like they do other suppliers, where they make you take out everything that can be taken out, and they went too cheap. I don't know if they have that sort of ability over their regular vendors who aren't selling stuff through Walmart, but I'm curious what Tesla Legal has a rebuttal.
Well, Tesla Legal has already filed a rebuttal.
The public one that we can see?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to look at that part. Because I figured the truth would be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, it's basically, no, we didn't.
Yeah.
And the other thing to consider is will the semi order be affected by this at all?
Yeah, I bet Walmart's really excited.
Will Walmart back out on semi purchases as well?
They might back out on the mega charger installs.
Yeah.
I don't see them turning the semi down if what we've seen from Freightliner and others is the best they can do versus what Tesla is claiming they will be able to do.
Right.
They'd be stupid to turn that order down out of spite.
Well, I mean, this is
the Walton family, so it's possible. But
this is the way companies, we're not going to give you this unless you give it that. And again, keep in mind, Tesla fumbled this ball for a couple of years. Tesla, not Solar City.
Yeah.
Could have repaired this, could have settled this, could have figured it out. The other thing that I didn't mention is that all of these systems were leased. None of them Walmart purchased. Right. So Tesla owns those systems. Yeah. Tesla is contractually obligated to maintain them and inspect them regularly.
Yes. So somebody brought up a point with that, is that they said that since these are leased to purchase for most of these corporations that they did business with, they're wondering if perhaps they're trying to renegotiate how quickly the lease turns into an ownership deal.
I don't know anything about lease to purchase.
So it was a theory that I saw floated that could make sense if theirs were also leased to purchase the same way that some of the home units were.
Okay.
Like where after 10 years of paying on this, you own it. So maybe they want to own it in 5 years instead of 10.
Well, we'll have to review the documentation of what Tesla says. So
I suspect if they're setting the roofs of their stores on fire, they probably don't want to own them at all.
Well, it was alleged that the Tesla employees said that they had work that needed to be done, as well as the Walmart employees. Mm-hmm. So
yes,
if I come to you and say, "Hey, Russell, I've installed this Honda fill system in your garage, and it's going to compress natural gas," and I come back in 2 years and say, "Hey, it's freaking dangerous. I need you to do this, this, and this so that it doesn't kill your family," why isn't it done?
I agree. Why isn't it done? I mean, Tesla's had a couple of years to fix this, and they have not.
But that's the thing is, if I'm the installer and I tell you this, why isn't that done? In addition to, say your next door neighbor is a gas inspector for the gas company, and he also says it's unsafe. So now you've got your guy and me saying it's unsafe. Why is it still not repaired? It doesn't look good.
I'll end my speech here with this. My problem with Tesla, and people have said, Russell hates Tesla. No. I don't hate Tesla. Used to work there, blah, blah, blah. It's not a matter of hate. It's a matter of this exact situation. This is my fear. This is my concern. The Tesla's irresponsibility is going to get them into trouble that they can't get out of. And then people are going to go, well, ding dang. Tesla was setting Walmarts on fire. We don't want that on our house. And they're going to hurt the product category, whether it's electric vehicles or electric generation. And that is super bad.
Well, look at the guy who leased the Solar City roof on his house, and it caught fire. And look how long he was fighting them to get paid back. Yeah. Tesla owned that system, so that's now two plaintiffs. What happened?
Well, we're going to follow this. I'm sure it'll be in the news more as time goes along. So as we see more, we'll report on more. But keep your eyes open because this isn't going away anytime soon.
No.
Nope, not at all. Our next story is the new Bimmers are in. Did you guys see the new Bimmers?
No.
You didn't see it?
No.
Good.
You're going to show it to me, though. That's why I watch this show.
Then.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're kidding me. That's a joke, right?
So some inventive individual decided to slap a few BMW stickers on his Model 3 and show us what the new Beamer looks like. It looks a
No.
lot like a Model 3, but
No.
yeah, it's just a joke, but kind of funny. Saw that earlier in the week. We posted it on our Twitter feed, which reminds me, if you're not connected to our Twitter feed yet, what are you waiting for? Connect to us at the Tesla Life and start enjoying different tweets all throughout the week. We try to add our news to it throughout the week and pull from it at the end of the week when we do our weekly show. So if you're on Twitter, please join us there. If you're on Facebook, you can join us, the Tesla Life #1, and you can follow us there. And while you're watching us currently on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up at this point. And if you haven't rung that bell, please do so as well, because when you ring the bell, you will get notified when the show starts. And during this transition to Skype podcast, we don't really know when the show is going to start. So you'll be able to help yourself because it'll alert you whenever the show starts automatically. And that'll be a good thing. And if you haven't already, if this is the first time you've ever watched the show, please press that subscribe button. Give us another number. We would really appreciate it. Now that my shilling is over, we'll move on.
I still get why the kidney grill was so tall on that Model 3.
No.
Not at all, right, Russell? Not at all. Next story is an update to another roadster that we've been tracking for some time. Starman, who was put on the top of a Falcon Heavy rocket and launched into space, apparently has now completed his first orbit of the sun. And if memory serves correct, that's less than a year. He's gone around the sun now once, and probably because of the propulsion, he's been sent into space at thousands of miles an hour, and now has completed his first go around or orbit of the sun. So no pictures of this, but what would really be cool if it could have been done is I would love to see what this thing looks like after this long in space.
If they had put solar panels and some batteries on it, two products that they also make, maybe we'd have a connection.
There's been speculation as to what the car would look like. Mm-hmm. Of course, paint stripped completely, washed out from the sun, the UV rays. It's probably not a pretty sight, and that's probably the reason they didn't try to make it to transmit at a later date, because they probably said there's no win in this if we were to show that this car is completely blistered and the tires have popped or one's missing or anything like that. So that's probably the reason they haven't done it. But man, that would sure be cool to be able to see what that car looks like after almost a year orbiting the sun.
I suspect it would look very similar, except like you said, maybe faded paint, because there's not a lot of friction up there.
Right, but you would think that in space, like even little bits of gravel, like little meteors could bounce off this thing, and there's no protection from it. So it would be really cool to see what the thing looks like at this point.
For sure.
I don't think we're going to get that chance. But anywho, next story is a little bit about the full self-driving path that Tesla's taking over other automobile manufacturers. And this story came from us from Clean Technica. And what was nice about this story is that it went into some detail and showed you the differences that Tesla is doing compared to other manufacturers, such as Tesla not using LiDAR, what LiDAR does. And there were links in the article for you to look up even more information about the different automatic driving features that can be added to any car. But what was nice was that this explained different features and what these products would do and what they can't do. So you got to see the differences in how these systems work together and what they're trying to accomplish. So I don't know if the two of you have got a chance to look at this article at all, but it was interesting to see these different paths that automobile manufacturers are taking at this point.
I loaded the article. I hadn't had a chance to read it yet.
Okay.
Sorry. I got nothing.
So
I'm going to be quiet here.
I want to say almost a year ago, Elon told me that, not me personally, but me, all of us, that we would have Smart Summon in 4 to 6 weeks.
We would have, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Casey. We would have what in 4 to 6 weeks?
Smart Summon.
Smart Summon. That's
11
right.
months ago.
That's right. And that is another note that Elon had said that it was also going to be accompanied with a full self-driving price increase.
Mm-hmm.
That was supposed to happen on August 16th, I believe.
You know what else Elon said? Parking lots are hard.
He did.
They are hard, Russell. They're really tough.
And you know what? I'm making fun of Elon, but he's absolutely right.
He is correct.
The different
gradients on concrete is incredibly hard to decipher through a visual device.
Yes.
Parking lots are an incredible task for autonomous vehicles,
Yep.
much more than anyone realizes, except Elon Musk, who was sure that it was no big deal.
Well, I mean, he's no stranger to hubris. And I'm not complaining too much because the fact that our cars will do this eventually. We've seen it on prototypes and on the beta test program. It's just that he needs to get with these timelines. And in fact, had this been my Chevy Volt, I couldn't get the power meter from 2012 to 2013. They're like, buy a new car, $40,000. You can just install the meter. I'll pay for the software. No, that's not an option.
Yeah, Chevy doesn't like to do that. They just would rather you buy a new car.
Yep.
Absolutely. So there's definitely pluses with the system that Tesla has, but you're right. Time frames are not Elon's friends. Never have. I don't know if they ever will be. But he does indicate that the price increase is still going to happen as it relates to version 10 release and the early beta testers of version 10.
In 4 to 8 weeks.
That's right. So there is a delay on both the release of it and the price increase. It looks like they're going to keep them together, which is a good thing, I would say. Instead of just having the price increase happen without the feature release. So if that was what was to happen, I would think that would certainly be a shot in their own foot. So delaying the price increase to the release of the feature certainly makes sense.
He also says those of us suckers who bought full self-drive at full price with the purchase of their car that he promised early access program to will be getting early access to this feature. We shall see.
I bet you can't wait.
I thought I made that clear.
Did he actually call you suckers?
No.
Should have.
I read suckers. Because if we didn't buy it with the car and we waited like some of these other people did, you would get the upgrade for what, $2,000.
Yep, it's kind of a shot in the gut when you think of it that way, isn't it?
Yeah, one of our club members said, "Oh, well, I'll just wait for it to go down again," and then it went up. I was like, "Well, that was a give me. I mean, there's no way he was going to let it go down further immediately."
After the backlash that he got on the first drop, yeah.
Yes,
absolutely.
But he wanted to.
He probably did.
Oh man, yep, lots of fun. Speaking of fun, sales numbers have been released, of course, in every quarter. But what's interesting here is that in this Teslarati article is that they've been reviewing the sales of the EV market as a whole. So all the different brands. And what they've discovered is that really, if you take Tesla out of the equation of EV sales, that the entire EV segment in the United States is basically stagnant. It's not moving up or down. It's keeping the status quo where it's at. If you throw the Tesla numbers in, then there's large increases. But it's interesting that the other auto manufacturers are not able to sell their vehicles at an increase. It's just not happening at this point. For the first half year, the stats show that it's flatlined when it comes to other EV sales in the U.S. market. And there was another article that we published in our Twitter feed as well, was the talk about the Tesla killers having a hard time fulfilling what they're supposed to be doing. So they were singling out actually the Audi e-tron and the Jaguar I-Pace as vehicles that were supposed to start encroaching upon Tesla's reign as the EV king, for against the Model X, for example, or even possibly the Model S, depending on how you're comparing it. But there was, and even a 3 in some cases. But there was another article indicating that, again, these other manufacturers are not selling a lot of the vehicles. I believe in Jaguar's case for the I-Pace, they're basically selling about one I-Pace per dealership in the US per month. There's about 200 dealerships. So you're getting about 200 sales of the I-Pace a month. And of course, that's a lot less than they were hoping for. And some EV incentive programs have been released. In fact, I believe is it Jaguar that is offering a $3,000 discount if you already own a Tesla.
Yep.
So they're trying to incentivize EV owners that are already familiar or own a Tesla already to get involved with an I-Pace with a $3,000 credit if you can prove you own one. So go ahead, Chris.
Are they hurting their fossil sales? Because somebody tried to float the idea that they were hurting the Model S and Model X sales, but the EV market, like you said, is stagnant otherwise, but it's growing if you include Tesla. And my question there is it because the other manufacturers haven't brought a compelling story yet? I mean, the only people buying right now are people who have never heard of Tesla or have some reason not to buy from them, like some personal reason. And I mean, the long distance travel is definitely a large story that comes up constantly because it is a big question mark depending on where you start and where you want to end up. And what else are they? I mean,
well, I can tell you one thing that rang in my head when I was buying my Tesla was that I knew that this was the 4th generation of a car that Tesla has produced. And I knew they had 3 previous generations to get things right, and they kept putting those enhancements into the next vehicle. Mine was going to be the 4th one around, and I felt that was an excellent way to buy a car. That's it's been test proven previously, and those enhancements have been rolled in. Just like the Model Y will probably be in another ratchet above the Model 3. So these other manufacturers, this is their first real kick at the can. The Audi e-tron, the I-Pace, these vehicles they're learning. The manufacturer is learning. They're figuring out whether or not their thoughts of what the car would be able to do, what the features would be able to do, they're figuring it out in real life that yes or no, these boxes are or are not checked. And then they're going to have to go back to the drawing board and make enhancements and changes so that their 2nd generation of vehicle can outperform the first and make it a more compelling, idea to purchase this vehicle than it is currently.
That's another good point. Is right now the only people they've got are Audi early adopters, Jaguar early adopters. That's a much smaller market because, like you said, it is their first go. And it didn't even click to me because I've been driving hybrid electric so long that I didn't even think that you could do it wrong. But who was it that had the recall recently, where they had basically a short stop sale? Was that the e-tron?
Yes. Yeah. So again, those are things they're learning in real life, in real time, and they're having to react to it. And certainly the sales are another thing that they're looking. I just hope that they are in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
I would hate to believe that Audi's board or Jaguar's board are going to look at these disappointing numbers and say, well, we're throwing in the towel. They've got to stay in it for a longer period of time. There is some hope that you saw that both Audi and Jaguar joined the electric racing team group. So they're spending money. They know that there's some enhancements they can make. There's things they can learn from electric racing. They're trying to roll those into the cars as well. I just hope that they're going to be in for 2, 3, 4 generations of vehicles, and they too can have some success if they stick in it for the long haul.
So I read an article this afternoon that said that Volkswagen has a plan to basically phase out their new fossil cars and fossil lines by like 2 years from now. And they showed this graph. They said this is the graph. It's striking. I mean, because Volkswagen is not a small company, and Audi is part of that group. And it looks like they're in for the long haul.
I hope that Volkswagen too. Like again, this is going to be Volkswagen's really maybe their 1.5 kick at the can. Yes, they've done an electrified car already, but it was based on a gasoline car. Their first all electric car the ID is coming. Hopefully. They'll be able to, they've made some changes based on what they've seen previously and can come out of the gate with a strong contender, but that remains to be seen.
So 2 of my new neighbors and one of somebody else in the neighborhood, he's got 2 Teslas. 2 of my neighbors have Teslas. And there's a Volkswagen e-Golf in the basement. He runs the extension cord to the elevator. I also run my extension cord to the elevator.
Those are fun cars to drive. The e-Golf, the electric Golf is certainly a fun car to drive.
Yeah.
But what do you think, Russell? Is this concerning from what you see?
I mean, let's be clear in that for the mainstream, gas prices drive things like this.
They do.
And in most of the United States, gas prices are still very low. So that's one big factor. People aren't even thinking about ICE versus EV because, hey, it still only costs me $50 to fill up my tank. Jack that up to $75, $80, $100, and all of a sudden, electric options are going to look. The other thing is we're looking at Tesla at a minimum of 45 grand. We're looking at Audi at a minimum of 45 or 50 grand. We're looking at Jaguar at a minimum of 50 grand. I mean, these cars have a limited market. None of them are mainstream cars. A mainstream car is 30 grand.
That's right.
At the most. And let's be clear, most
that's for a mainstream family car like a Camry or an Accord, not like the Civic and the Corolla.
Right. I mean, but most family cars, I realize the average is 33,000, but that average is skewed by a lot of high-end expensive vehicles. We're talking about cars. You get it. If somebody makes an EV for 20 to 25,000, I think we're going to see a whole different market because people are going to realize that they can finance that and it'll make sense.
Right.
So what we're seeing is a cyclical downturn in automobile sales and low fuel prices, which make EVs less attractive to mainstream buyers. This will pass, but the trick is weathering that storm, staying in business until gas prices go up or until demand starts ramping back up or until you can scale your product down to a price where more people can afford it.
Yeah. So how does this feel to you guys compared to the ramp to hybrids? They also took quite a while to take hold before they were accepted by the John Q. public.
Yep.
Absolutely.
The same story is there in our history. Absolutely. Yep.
I mean, all 3 of us.
Yep.
I was just out of high school, and we were all there on Prius chat.
Oh, you know what? Leave me alone. High school.
No, I had finished high school. I said.
It was way after high school, is what you're saying.
I was working my first job. No, it was not way out of high school for me.
But I mean, again, that's this is I'm going to try not to draw any like super big overbroad conclusions.
Right.
From the idea that you take Tesla EV sales out and EV sales suck. Well, I mean,
Well, they don't
Tesla's the
suck.
hot product right now,
They don't suck.
They're
They're
steady.
flat.
Yeah.
They're flat.
which is kind of sucky, but yeah,
But at
we want to
least
see that grow.
at least EVs are keeping flat, whereas some of the car market is starting to go negative.
Yes.
So there's that that you're still in a positive light as opposed to going backwards. But the question is are the other car manufacturers making a compelling enough model for people to buy, or because is it just the glimmer of Tesla that allows it to sell large amounts compared to the other manufacturers that are flatlined?
Yeah.
It's
Clearly.
Is it just marketing or non?
Yeah.
Like is it just brand that allows people to buy a Tesla over buying, say, Chevy Bolt? Like, is it just brand that's bringing those people over?
No community is monolithic. Okay. No car buying community is one thing. Everyone in the media tries to make it that way. Prius owners are smug, environmental, tree hugging assholes. And I heard that stuff for a decade.
And you got the guy with the gun rack in there already.
Yeah. The truth is that Prius owners were a diverse group. Yeah. Okay. Tesla owners at this point are a fairly small group, mainly because of the price of the product.
Yeah.
There's
no doubt there.
Purchasing a lifestyle. They're purchasing a brand. This is like wearing an Airmade belt. You can go buy a belt for $20, for $50. You don't have to spend $500 on an Airmade belt, but damn, that Airmade belt, that logo, people know you got cash. You know what I mean? You're powerful.
Yeah.
And I think that Tesla confers, look, it's electric. It's a Tesla. It's, I absolutely think that's the stage that we're at as far as the development of that product, in my opinion.
You definitely are. I mean, I get hit up way more for cash by panhandlers than I ever used to.
Oh my!
Hey, have you got any money, by the way?
What I ought to tell them is no. You see what I'm driving? I spent it all.
Why don't you just Venmo me some money, okay?
Well, with that wraps up this week's news.
Oh.
And of course, if you want to hit up Casey for some money, you can just put it in the show comments.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Loaded.
Casey, have you got
Casey Green?
Yeah, Casey, I know you've been in the middle of a move, but have any updates coming to your YouTube channel shortly?
Yes, as soon as I grab the computer and bring it. But I did bring all of my backups, so if I can make this laptop handle some 4K video, yeah, Russell knows the struggle. Russell knows the struggle.
The struggle is real.
Yeah, so I will attempt, but I don't have any high hopes for it. So as soon as I go on the next road trip and grab the computer, it will be in the cab or in the trailer. I don't care. I'm going to bring it. I'm going to make sure strap it to the roof. I don't care. I'm going to bring it. And we'll get back to making you guys some videos. And there'll be some cell phone-ish, some GoPros. My nice gimbal camera has decided to have neck failure, so I need to send that in for a warranty repair.
Very good, very good. And what's the YouTube channel for people that don't know?
YouTube.com/Casey Green. That's KACEYGREEN.
Perfect, perfect. Mr. Frost, any parting comments this evening?
As always, my love to everyone out there. Thank you for watching. Do check us out at facebook.com/the Tesla Life #1. That's the Tesla Life #1. And of course, the big one is follow us on Twitter. That's where Mark posts all the news. That's where everything's happening. There's all kinds of stuff going on there. And that's at the Tesla Life. Of course, subscribe and ring the bell so that you get notifications when you sign up. And of course, if you want to hear more about me bitching, 1 hour, what drives us, and we'll definitely talk about the Tesla lawsuit a little more.
Absolutely. Very good. Very good. All right, everyone. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We hope to see you next week. And again, if you're here this long, give us that thumbs up now. Don't forget, press the thumbs up, give us a number. Really appreciate it.
We're going to give you that.
Or you're going to get the smoking rabbit's back end. Yes.
You're going to get the rabbit. Why isn't it focusing? There we go. You're going to get the
We
rabbit.
don't want it to focus, Russell. Really. We
I
don't.
do.
Because it's not a macro camera.
Man.
Well, everyone, have yourselves a good week, and we will see you next time and find out what's happening in the Tesla life. Oh, wave. Good night, everyone. Have yourselves a good week.